Good afternoon, Year 3. This is your very first science lesson of Term 4. So we are going to be carrying on our work on animals. And we're going to be focusing a little bit more actually on humans this term. But of course, we know that humans are a type of animal. So check you've got what you need first. You need a sharp pencil, your ruler, the back of your English book, if that's where you've been doing your science work over the last term, and if possible, the human body worksheet. If you weren't able to print that off, you can just draw it, so it's fine. Okay, so pause the video and check you've got those things. Okay, can you jot down the date and LO today? Have a look at the picture as well. Just see if you can name any of those organs. We're going to be looking at organs today. Just see if you can name any of them already. Okay, pause the video and do that now. Well done if you were able to name some of those organs. Today we're going to be identifying organs. So we're looking at the organs of the human body. And we're going to be having a go at naming them and also finding them in a diagram a bit like this. So what I'd like to do first actually is to play you a little video which gives you an overview of this term's science lessons. And in this video, you will hear a little bit more about those organs. So perhaps if you keep your ear out for naming the organs that maybe you didn't know yet. And the answers will be in this video, so have a little look.
The major organs of the human body. Your body contains lots of different organs, all working together, each with their own special job to do. Inside your head, protected by your skull, is your brain. Your brain does all your thinking and tells the other parts of your body what to do. Here is your heart, which pumps blood around your body. Your lungs are protected by your rib cage. They bring air in and out of your body. Your stomach digests your food, breaking it down, ready for your liver to help digest it and store the nutrients. Your liver also cleans your blood before your kidneys filter it. All the waste is finally passed on to your intestines so it can leave your body. Of course, not all your organs are inside your body. Your skin is your largest organ, and it does lots of different jobs. It holds everything together in a protective waterproof layer. It stops germs and dirt getting into your body, and has sensors to tell you about your environment, such as how cold or hot it is. To keep all your organs working well, you need to eat a healthy, balanced diet, drink plenty of water, and do lots of exercise.
I hope you enjoyed that. Let me pop my screen back. Okay, so hopefully now you're able to name a couple more of those organs that maybe you didn't know before. Let's have a look at them then. So at the top, nice and easy, we've got the brain. And the video was telling us about how our skull protects our brain. Remember we have a feel of your skull now in your head. It's hard, isn't it? That's your skull. And inside your skull, that's your brain. It's a very important organ. So it needs that thick skull to protect it. And then here we've got two of these. Lungs. We should know that one. And in between our lungs, possibly a bit further back in the centre of our chest, is a very important organ, our heart. Did you get that one? And then this one here is quite a big organ, isn't it? It's quite a dark red big organ. Some children get a bit tricked on this one because it looks a bit like the stomach. And it looks about where the stomach should be. But this big organ here is not the stomach. It's actually something called the liver. Can you say that? Liver. And it's actually this part here that's the stomach. Okay, and can you see the stomach is then attached to these other organs that we'll talk about in a moment? So that's the stomach. Have a look at what's tricky about the spelling of stomach. Something on the end of it looks a bit more tricky to spell. We'll have to remember that later, won't we? Stomach. And we've got two of these as well, a bit like the lungs. There's two of them. They're very dark here. And these are called the kidneys. And actually, a human body only needs one kidney to be able to survive. So some people are actually born with only one kidney and they can still survive and live a normal life. So they're the kidneys. And then we can see from the stomach, you know where the food is, the food's coming down, it's being digested, and it goes into two intestines. We've got the small intestine and we've got the large intestine. Okay. And then the other part here, this is where we would go to the toilet to relieve ourselves. So this is the bladder. I wonder if you can think about now another organ, probably, I think it's one of the definitely the biggest organ in our body that we can't see in the picture here. Can you have a guess at what it is? It actually said in the video a moment ago. It's actually the skin. Your skin is also a big organ that helps to hold all of our body together, doesn't it? So the skin is also an organ. Now you might want to pause the video now and just take a little picture just so you remember where those organs are and what they're called. So you might want to pause the video and do that now. Okay, so what are organs? Well, it's not like an organ instrument. There is an instrument that's called an organ, isn't there? But actually, these parts in our body are called organs as well. An organ is a group of different tissues that work together to do a particular job. So every organ in our body has a really special job to do that helps us stay alive and helps us function properly. Now we're going to be learning about what different functions the organs have next lesson. But today is going to be about identifying where those organs are, and also we're going to focus on the brain in a moment a little bit more. Organs are grouped together into organ systems. We don't need to worry about organ systems too much at the moment, but it's worth remembering that they're grouped together into systems that work in our body. Examples of organ systems include the circulatory system and the digestive system. And the human body actually has 78 different organs, but we're just learning about the main ones for the moment. There's actually a lot more organs that maybe you'll learn about as you get much older. Okay. If you have the printout of this worksheet, I would like you now to fill in where these organs go in the body. You will need to use your ruler to draw a line to match where the label goes to where it is in the body. So for example, the bladder, I know the bladder's near the bottom of the body, so I'm going to write bladder in a box that's nearer down the end. And I would then draw a line with my ruler, hoping this is going to work, from the label. Oh, that's a bit big. From the label to where it is. Okay, you would draw a line with your ruler. It could be a little arrow if you like to. Okay, so I'd like you to pause the video if you've got your worksheet ready and fill in those spaces. If you haven't got the worksheet, what you could do, you've got a bit of an art activity going for you now. You need to have a go at drawing what's on the screen here. Have a little go at it. It's not going to be perfect. I don't mind. What we're after is a rough outline of some of these organs and labels, so you can have a go at naming them and identifying where they are in the body. Okay, so have a go at that now. Pause the video in whatever way you're doing it. Okay, well done. I hope you didn't have to wind the video back to check where they were. I hope you could have a really good go at that. Shall we mark our work? So I will now flick back to this first slide. Just tick the ones you've got correct with your purple polishing pen or your very sharp pencil if you're at home. Check you've got these correct. If there's any you got a little bit wrong, just make the correction. It's not a problem. Pause the video and do that now. Well done. Okay, let's move on to the next part of our lesson. So we're going to hone in just on the brain for the moment. Okay, so we're going to focus on the organ, which is our brain. The brain is protected by the skull and is surrounded by fluid to cushion it if you fall over. So inside your skull is your brain, and then there's some fluid or liquid, we could call it, that are, so it doesn't rub against our skull. It's really secure and protected within there. The brain is about the size of a small cauliflower. So imagine the size of a small cauliflower that you might be helping mum or dad with, or someone at home with their cooking. It's about that size. It sends messages to the rest of the body using the spinal cord. It is a bit like your body's own control centre. The brain needs oxygen from blood to work properly. Around 3,500 pints or 2,000 litres of blood flows through the brain every day. And that's why it's really important to drink a lot, isn't it? To drink a lot of water, perhaps, because that helps the blood do its job, helps the blood to stay healthy. The brain is split into two sides called hemispheres. Each part of the brain controls different functions. The right side of the brain controls the left side of the body, and the left side of the brain controls the right side of the body. That's funny, that, isn't it? There are areas of the brain that help with all of our senses as well. So our behaviour, how we act, our speech, how we talk, our memory and our movements. So another little task, this is your second task of today. I'd like you to use the information that is on the screen to use as evidence in your to answer these questions. So it says answer the questions below in full sentences. The first question is, how is the brain protected? So write that as a full sentence for me. And what does the brain do? Okay, so pause the video, answer both of those questions in full sentences using the text which is on the screen to help you. Well done. And we've got a final thing to show you today. Now, my final activity is an optional activity because some of you might be able to do it and some of you might not be able to do it at home. So it's just an option. If you're in school, stay listening because it might be an activity you really like to do at home. So it's an investigation, actually. Imagine the egg is a brain. So you're going to have a raw egg. And you're imagining that that's a very delicate brain. It's very delicate without a skull for protection. Now the task is to drop the egg from 1 meter high, and your aim is to provide enough protection for the egg with whatever materials you can find around your house so the egg doesn't break. That's what your aim is. So you're going to need to do this, a raw egg. I'd recommend having a couple of eggs in case the first one breaks and actually you want to have another try. Felt tip pens, because actually we can draw faces on our eggs if we'd like to. Some materials to help cushion your egg, and I'm not going to tell you what they need to be because really that's where your imagination has to come into play. What can you see? What can you find? What do you think is going to cushion this egg enough so it's not going to break? And I would recommend some sort of tape measure so you can measure a meter. Yeah, to make it a fair test. So step 1, draw a face on your egg. Step 2, think scientifically to help you secure some cushioning around your egg. In step 3, measure how high 1 metre is and drop the egg from the height. And the aim is to come up with a design of cushioning that doesn't break the egg. This is what we don't want in this picture here. Oh dear. This egg had no cushioning, so it was definitely going to break. And just a little tip as well, please don't do this on the floor of your house. I would suggest you do it outside, so that if it does break, it's not going to cause a big mess that you're going to have to clean up. Or hopefully it won't cause a mess, because hopefully it won't break, but we never know. This is why we have to test these things. Now, to get your brains going, I have on the next slide, I have done a little internet search of other children that have had a go at this activity. So if you're feeling very stuck for ideas on how to cushion your egg, I'm going to show you some pictures now that will maybe give you a few ways of doing it. It also depends on what resources you've got at home. So let me show you that now if you'd like to see it. Here you go. Now I haven't tested any of these ways of doing it. So some may work and some may not. So we need to be a little bit creative on this one. And think about how your egg is going to not break from 1 metre. It's quite high, isn't it? So if you'd like to, you can take part in that science investigation. And do let me know how you got on Dojo. I'd be really interested to find out. Well done today, everyone. See you next time.